Hey guys. Oh my God. I'm nervous now. Rick, thank you for joining. I promise I'll put you to sleep as soon as possible. Because this material will. You're the only person here. Okay, Rick, let me tell you something. There's something called, I know, you're going to be sleeping in just a wee moment. The live stream that I had going was interrupted by Camilo. Thank you, Camilo. When he called, my phone froze. So there were people who were actually on this live stream following. I'm trying to actually refresh my computer thing here so I can actually see. I believe I cannot do that. Yeah, exactly. Leave it to Camilo, right? Come on, Camilo. That's what Rick would say. I can't see. Okay, so anyways, guys, for those of you who are already at the last stream, which was just 1 second ago, where we stopped was, can you play? Yes, you're back. You're back, and you'll be back shortly. All right. I don't know how you're going to do that, but however you do that, I'm sure it's going to be interesting. So we have our 2/5, and we already talked about a basic place to play these 2/5s, right? You're ready to stole some licks. All right. I'm going to stole some also. Now, so we have our just to quickly go over what we already did. We wanted to try and stay in this area, in this position, with basic arpeggios and play over a 2/5. No chromatic tones, nothing advanced, only something basic. And here's how it would sound, just using those arpeggios, okay? Let me just do this. That should be. Okay, here we go. Perfect. I played through it, no problem, no wrong notes. Straight the arpeggio. Now, guys, hang on 1 second. I know this is basic, and my God, somebody gave me money. Wow. I'm really happy. Thank you so much. Whoa. So, just goes to show you, if you've never played over 2/5s before, and you don't know anything about chromatics, and you don't know anything about voice leading, you have a really good chance to actually do some voice leading by accident if you don't have any ears to do this yet. Yeah, thanks, Rick. It's just what an inspiration he is to me, really. Yes, but I will not get started on that. So it really is simple if you just have this path already carved out. If you've never played a basic minor 7 arpeggio before, then there is going to be some an uptick in your there's going to be an uptick in your slowing down. So you're going to have to get the pathway first set, and meaning you're going to have to go over this. And then you're going to have to go over this one with G7. But once you get these drilled into your mind and then under your fingers, you really can't go wrong. Okay? Now, I am playing with the swing feel, and the swing feel also takes time to develop, but the best way to develop it is to listen to it. Listen to it, and maybe even have a mentor who could say, yes, you're doing it right, or no, you're not doing it quite right. I would think of it more as, I would think of this kind of time field thing as almost like an accent if you're learning another language. If you are going to speak Spanish and you're going to say, ¿Dónde está el baño? Where's the bathroom? You're not, if you're saying it like, ¿Dónde está el baño? Yes, a Spanish speaker would have a good laugh and be able to pretty much guess what you are saying, but it's without any kind of brogue. And this is, I want to just kind of simplify it and say, this is just basically a rhythmic brogue. So if you're used to playing straight, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment to get a swing feel, and it comes through listening music and listening to music that uses that kind of swing feel and trying to imitate it, and having a mentor, somebody who's good at it, right there, either on the other end of a phone or FaceTime call, saying, hey, thumbs up or not so great. And that's kind of correct you. And then if you apply that to these arpeggios, you're going to start getting there. And remember, you have to, you really do have to like crawl on your stomach and chest before you get to the normal crawl position. And then, you know, so far and so forth. Now, we're talking about the fingerprint of a chord. The fingerprint of a chord, in my opinion, is the third and the seventh. As I can show you right here, if you have just a regular root and you don't know what the third is, you don't know if this is a minor sound or a major sound. Okay, now if you add the sevenths into it, then this major sound with a minor seventh has a very distinct dominant sound. A minor third with a minor seventh has a very distinct minor seventh sound. So can you play through this 2/5 with just thirds and sevenths? Of course you can. It is probably, aside from just hitting the roots, you know, when you play the 2/5, it's probably the most telling thing that you could play, and simple too. Now I'll just call out what they are, right? So here we have third, seventh to the third of the next chord, that seventh, which goes to the third of the next chord, which leads me to another rule that I used to always say. Third of the seventh, the third of the chord you're in to the seventh of the chord you're in, the seventh goes to the third of the next chord. And then, did I say that right? Third to the seventh of the chord that you're in, seventh of the chords that you're in will take you to the third of the chords you're going to. And then you can play the seventh of that chord. So with D minor 7, we have, so I'm just going to play the root. Here's a third, and that will take you to the seventh of the G7. Did I say third or seventh? It takes you to the third. The seventh of the 2 chord, which is D minor, will take you to the third of the 5 chord. And then you can play that seventh in the 5 chord. And that will take you to the third of C major 7. Oh, you're very welcome, Elias. You're very welcome. In real time, it sounds like this. 7th goes to the 3rd, and to the 7th of that C major 7th. So 3rd to the 7th goes to the 3rd of the G7 to the 7th, which goes to the 3rd of the C major 7. Now, if I use that little bit of knowledge with the arpeggios, I can get something that'll sound like this. It sounds nice. You're not going to buy a record of it, but it sounds nice and it's fun to play. Now, you can really flesh this out and you can really take this to an extreme. I'm just giving you a crash course. When I say that you can take it to an extreme, you can play this all over the neck. It would look like this. This should be interesting. I don't like the way my guitar sounds. Sorry, lads. One second. Technical. You know, it'd be nice if I had the actual tuner in line. This is what I get for like baiting the bejesus out of my guitar. There we go. So guys, so you can see what I'm talking about with the basic arpeggios, and that really requires some work, and you could do single string arpeggios. You could do this all on one string. One string would look like this. Okay, let's see. There you go. It sounds really super basic, okay? Now, let's start adding some other tones into this. If I have the 2 chord here, now this obviously requires a little bit more knowledge, and just go with me on this one, all right? So, a little bit more knowledge and a little bit of the addition of some chromatic notes. So let's try that. Like in real time, I'm thinking here, what am I going to leave out? Okay, so again, this is for those of you who've never kind of done this thing before. So what we're going to do for our D minor 7 is we're going to use some scalar tones. So we're going to use, how about if we use a 9th? So we use the E. So we have this instead of now. Now we're going to do this. what I did was I subbed the root, subbed the ninth for the root. Now that doesn't mean that you don't ever have to use that, the actual root. So that's with the ninth being the E, or the second. And for the G, I'm going to insert the flat ninth. So and for C major, I'll also use the ninth. Do I have to go up this high? No, not important. So let's try it. We're not going to go out of this general area here. Now, because I'm saying subbing the flat nine or the natural nine for the root, that doesn't mean you can't ever play the root. It's just, it's kind of an arranging term, and it's just some easy nomenclature so we could just, again, get airborne. So here we go. How about this? There's the flat nine. So for the D minor 7, I really like this sound. And that leads me to G7. Now remember, I said I could sub the flat 9 for the root. So that's right here is the flat 9. So my G7. I could go back down the basic G7 arpeggio. Now watch, I'm going to add the root here. Flat 7th leading to the 3rd, just like I said in the beginning. So here's how it sounds. Try again. It's not advanced. It's not something you're going to buy a record of, but it works. And again, I'm just kind of like throwing a ton of stuff in your face. Even though this stuff is really basic, it's kind of a lot to digest if you've never tried to do this before. Now, how can we take it further? Because that's what we all want to do. Let's take it further. Let's add in some chromatic tones now. There is the classic chromatic tone that bebop players or jazz players would add. And again, we're not talking, the latest diminished lick. We're talking about further. You want to go further, do you? Okay. We're talking about the bebop scale. And the bebop scale can be executed, or it can execute you, depending upon how you do it. Let's see. So we're going to do it over the G7. What is the magic chromatic note? It's the major 7th. So if I play a G Mixolydian scale with a major 7th, there you have it. Now, there's a reason why that chromatic tone is there. And the chromatic tone is there. So if you blast it on that scale, you would have strong chord tones on, I mean, you'd have the chord tones on falling on strong beats. So if I make my loop now like this, so here's my Mixolydian scale is, let's see, what fingering did I like to use? I'll just use this for now. That's what I did. You can finger it however you want to finger it, but here's what it sounds like when played in 8 notes in. Again. So you notice that it actually, it's a way to use chromatics and sound right straight away. That's not a bad deal. So I'm just adding the F sharps in. Basically these 2 notes. Now here's something that you can do, which is really cool. If I start on the root, the 7th, the 3rd, or the root, 7th, 3rd, 5th on downbeats, I'm going to have that chromatic note be in the right spot. Now, a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing nowadays is chromatic notes in the weirdest places, and to my ears and to a lot of my friends' ears, it just sounds weird. It's just people think, oh, I'm just going to play something chromatic. Now I'm hip. Now I'm jazzy. Yeah, sure. Hey guys, 8-minute acts. Yeah, but Elias, enclosures, we're not covering enclosures just now. But yeah, of course, enclosures. So check this out. I'm going to start on the root. Works. That's starting from the 7th. That works too. So the chromatic note is on the upbeat. It's an unaccented passing tone, if you want to think about it like that. Again, that works. And finally, do you hear how that sounds? I think it sounds pretty good. Now, just to show you what it sounds like if we do it wrong, quote unquote wrong, it becomes an accented passing tone. Now, before everybody gets their knickers in a twist and says, oh yeah, accented passing tone, that's totally effed up. No, it's not, if you can control it. And what I mean by control it is rhythmically control it. And I guess melodically too. But I wouldn't worry yourself with that kind of thing right now, Vodka. Because that's more advanced and that's not part of this thing that we're doing right now. Can you do bebop scales with the other chords? Yes, you can. So with minor 7, it's with minor 7, it's the major 7th that's the passing tone. With major 7, it's the sharp 5 that's the passing tone. Yeah, that was right. Sorry about that. Quick saves. I actually don't use that one that much in that way. But here's how it could sound. I must bless myself first before trying this. Oh wait, wrong thing here. So. Now there I used a approach tone. I didn't have to, but I don't know, I just felt that that was the right thing to do. Now, Elias, you could argue that that was an enclosure, but please don't argue. Here we go. So, everybody is here. Rick is still here. Rick is probably sleeping by now. The chromatic line, yeah. You're waiting for that. Okay, so if we add the arpeggios in with the occasional bebop scale, it could sound like this. I did it again, Elias. You were having a terrible influence on me. See what you did? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you can see how you could have like miles of fun with just that kind of thing. And that's just in one position and really, really restrictive. I mean, like really restrictive. Not using any triads, not using any like serious chromatic tones, not using any enclosures. And you should be able to make a fair bit of music just with that kind of thing. And if you start using some dyads doing the same thing, you can not only add more interest, but you can use those same dyads to, hey, Lel, what's up? You can use those same dyads to comp. Okay, so how can we do that? Let's see. So these are just the using the fingerprint method that I was saying, third and seventh. So so that is how to do it pretty much basically. But I wanted to show you this one thing that was super life changing. It was super life changing. I happened to go, I mentioned this on the first live stream I ever did, and since we're talking about, it works, yeah. Pedal sticks. What am I talking about? Pedal steel? You mean this kind of thing? That sort of thing? Yeah, that, talk about modulation there. So when I went to University of Miami to go view a class, I had already been taking guitar lessons and failing miserably at it. I didn't understand jazz. I didn't understand that it was an actual language, which was like, had grammatical bits in it, and I didn't understand the sound or anything, and I knew it had a sound. I could recognize that when I heard my teachers play it. My teacher sucked. He was a great player, but he wasn't an experienced teacher. And I was totally spinning my wheels. He had given me all of these scales. I didn't get it. I just seriously didn't get it until I heard this guy do this. And I was like, what the hell was that? This thing of like, that was the sound. Let's try that again. So, and I was just like, that's it. That's the sound. This. And what it sounded like was you were just like falling in to the one chord. Like it was this massive tension and then this release. Like all these notes. I was like, that's the key. That's it. And that was basically, I think that the class had to do minor, major 7, using a super strong resolution. I mean, well, I don't know what is stronger. That could be argued. Well, I guess you could say that is a good lead up to it makes for a stronger resolution because it causes tension right before it resolves. Yet it's the same kind of resolution as. Not liking this tone. Sorry. That's a magnet. Nice. So yeah. I guess you could say it is stronger because it does build up tension. But it was life-changing for me to hear that. So what I didn't get, though, is I got so into that aspect that I kind of lost the control of the way that the chord sounds, the way that the chord sounds in its most basic form, which is root 3, 5, flat 7. So that's not a bad sound. So I think that whole altered thing is something that we'll leave for another time. I mean, I'm used to doing so much of an in-depth study of the third and the seventh exercises and the basic arpeggio exercises that revolve around that to just do it in like a half an hour or an hour is kind of does a little bit of disservice to the topic, but hey, what the hell? We're disservicing lots of stuff these days. Why not just continue on with this? And pretty much this is just a get your feet wet kind of thing. Or do you guys have any questions? Uh-oh. Oh, there's a massive, as an intermediate. Oh, as an intermediate. Hang on a second. Did I just like lose where this is? Hang on. Let me see if I can find that comment. I'm sorry, can you paste that comment again? I don't understand why my, oh, wait a second, here we go. Hang on, let's see if I can actually see it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to see your comment. Paste it and send it again. Oh wait, I see it, I see it. Okay, I have you 8-minute access. I hope 8 minutes isn't, yeah, I have the best setup. Yeah, it's called an iPhone. Hey, we'll have bigger and better things in the near future. Okay, so 8 minutes. I hope 8 minutes is not a commentary on how long you practice. I would say, how important is learning standards for you? If you're still in school, or if you're doing those kind of gigs, learning standards is seriously important, and having a pretty beefy repertoire is, I mean, it's admirable to begin with. When I could just tell you, like, what happened to me is there was some kind of orthodoxy associated with learning repertoire, and it just sucked the life out of it. If you're learning your repertoire off Miles Davis records and that sort of way, you're doing it the right way, because that's fun, that's inspiring, that's a way the greats learned, and of course being on gigs with other greats. But greats listen to recordings. We're not talking about how it was in the 40s, and it was a different world then, and going out and listening to great music was, you know, that was part of the culture. Now everything is very different. So as far as standards go, again, if it's really important for you to know standards regarding gigs, or if you're still in school, or if you just haven't been in this long enough, absolutely learn the standards. You should know the standards. You don't have to like all of them. Like, for instance, I don't like that tune 4. I don't like it. I don't know why. I've never liked that tune. I've always loved that standard, Angel Eyes. I've always loved that standard, Alone Together. They're kind of hackneyed in a certain regard. I don't know. They're just melodies that resonate with you, and there's ones that aren't gonna. Gravitate towards the ones that you really love, that just like really do it for you. Oh, I never liked Spain. Just never liked it. Yeah, I mean, I can listen to it and I can have fun watching other people play it, but I never wanted to learn it. I don't know why. But when I was coming up learning this stuff, there was this orthodoxy that you had to have the exact right melody, and that you had to research the changes, and it's like, it just started, like, you started to feel like this, you know, and go research, get the sheet music, and I think there's a lot of value in that. And if you are kind of like a tune historian, by all means, do that. I can remember guys arguing over what's the right change, is this melody note is totally wrong, and a lot of that stuff comes from the proliferation of the real book. And if you're learning it from the real book, I would always recommend cross-checking your tunes, especially if they're tunes that you love. Like, if you love Alone Together, man, check out the actual original changes and see if you can get your eyes onto the original sheet music. So that's that. Now you asked how would I divide my practice between improvisation? I You're a full-time guitar teacher, and you're taking jazz lessons from Mr. Stryker. You gig a lot, but you don't do jazz gigs. Okay, so you're not, okay, full-time teacher. First of all, hats off to you. I've been a full-time teacher before in a public school, which is what I'm guessing, and or maybe private lessons. And Dave's a great guitar player. I'm sure he's going to give you a lot of great advice. I end up doing a lot of technique work because I changed my technique, and now I'm having to like fill in massive holes. Private instructor and YouTuber. Hey, congratulations, man. That's great to hear. Gives me some hope. So I would always like, start with my, my typical, like technique. And I would just work my technique for the first, however many minutes. And then I would attack whatever the actual project is at hand. If you're trying to learn how to improvise, I would imagine you're using some kind of harmonic vehicle to do that, whether it be arpeggios or thirds and sevenths like we were talking, or whatever it might be. I would focus on that super slow, like ridiculously slow. And there's a dichotomy that happens. There is, you're going to feel like the time is going by even slower than it actually is. And that's not a bad thing. If you're practicing this 2/5 at this tempo, like something really, really slow that gives you time to do everything you want to do with high quality. Like the quality is not only, in your touch, but in your note choice too. And it gives you time to do the thing right. Now, here's the problem that we all face. We want to do it fast, we want to do it now, and we want to do it with some kind of, chops. Unless you're physically gifted and super talented, that is going to add time onto your, it's going to add time, it's going to push your goal further out. As much as you're enjoying just putting the pedal to the metal, I'm sure if you recorded it, you'd not want to show it to your friends, right? So if you do it slow, deadly slow, with the highest possible quality, and you let the highest possible quality, like that gold standard, be the auspices which all of your work is under, the auspicious umbrella, then that will serve as a governor. That will keep you from just going hog wild and pushing, and it's going to kind of feel good, but it's going to sound like crap. And ultimately, it's going to take you longer to get to your goal. And when I say longer, I mean, it could mean you could ultimately be doing that mode of practicing so much that it's going to push your goal a year or so further down the line. I mean, what good is that? Like, that sucks. If you put enough time into practicing wrong, it's going to take you a long time to get somewhere. A lot of times, if I was just working on, let's say if we're talking about the 2 chord as an example, I would just do maybe make my loop like this. Actually, that's not slow. So Now I would stop it right there because I just heard myself go like this. To me, that's not acceptable in practice. So I would go back and say, okay, what was going on? Okay, I've done it before. What am I doing? Oh, I'm pushing this string up a little bit and I'm playing on the fret. Like I would really stop it and then say, okay, now I'm going to pay attention to that. I'm going to work my way back down. There, sounds good now. Then I would give myself the stamp of approval after I could do that for 6 or 10 times in a row. Now, a lot of times I don't have the patience to do that, but I find that every time I do that, I actually just get it under my fingers and it's no longer an issue. So this pushing the G off, yeah, it happens once in a while. And you know, you could say, oh, well, Schofield does it to great effect, you know. Actually, it sounds really bad there. There, it sounds better on the A because of the note that it's playing when it goes off the fret. So now I know never to do it on the G because it's going up a flat second. So I would just iron out everything I was having a problem with at a slow tempo. I think if you do that, and if you really dedicate yourself to it, you're going to find that your practice sessions are going to be really fruitful, and you're going to walk away actually having stuff underneath your fingers, and that is like invaluable. And then you start, if you say, okay, where do you go from there? Oh wait, thanks for saying that you love my channel. I appreciate that. My channel loves you. Then what you start doing is you start putting that under the thumb screws of raising the metronome up. Okay, so just real quickly. So hang on 1 second here. And I would try the same stuff at this tempo now. Now, that's a big jump from the last tempo, and I wouldn't recommend doing a jump that big. I think that my loop sucks, but whatever, I won't be playing the whole thing. Something like that. I would say to myself, okay, you did it at that tempo. You're not doing too bad. For the 2 chord, now you have to go over the 5 chord. Now you have to go over the 1 chord. And then starting to add all of that stuff together. And you can do this if you're really focused. You can do this in 1 or 2 practice sessions, and it can actually sound like music. Is your feel going to be stellar if you're, you know, an intermediate player? Well, it certainly could be. I don't see why not. If you're listening to the right musicians and you're trying to copy them. And when by copying them, I don't mean going to their fastest lick and trying to do it. I don't mean that. I mean going to their 8th notes. If it's Cannonball Adderley, or if it's Hank Mobley, or whomever the classic guys that you might be listening to, just take a small section and see, can you play it along with them? And can you play it along without them and make it sound good? How do you check that? You record yourself, and then you show it to, in your case, 8-minute, you show it to Mr. Stryker. Hey there, Bent Tom, how are you? So that's what I would do in a nutshell. Another question. Dave's big on using heavier strings and higher action. He would hate me. He would absolutely hate me. I think he would hate Rick too. But you know, we're just so hateable, right? I like my light strings, and you know, come take them off my guitar, mucker. So I just think that these strings feel good, and they just feel really good. And I think that somebody would be actually really hard pressed. Tom, how's it going, man? I know who you are. You don't have to. Thanks, man. Nice to see you. Noodling, not good. Just got lost there. So I like my light strings, and I like not having tendonitis, and I like being able to, you know, play fast when I want to, and I like the ease of the bend. What else do I like about light strings? I know that there's this trade-off, and I know that you can't be, you know, like hitting it super obnoxiously hard. My Benson guitar here has, you know, heavy strings, and I like those too. So I guess you can look at it as, you know, just the right tool for the right job. But to just say that heavy strings are the way, I mean, there are some people who play with very heavy strings, and literally you can't really tell too much the difference. I know that somebody would argue with me, but a lot of times if you didn't know and you weren't making comparisons, then I think you might be hard pressed. You might be surprised. I think people were surprised to learn that Billy Gibbons was playing sevens. Yeah, but I mean, I really hope that Dave's not pressuring you, because that's not what you need. I thought that eights on this guitar, they feel like nines. That's kind of like how I feel about this thing. And if I don't, I think if I turn this thing loud, let's see, check this out. And I rolled the tone back, it's hard to tell what strings I'm. Great, I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very, and I understand why he says that too. I understand. I find it, I don't like fighting the guitar. I don't like fighting the guitar. Why should I? I've already gone through the tendonitis thing. That's just, you know, I don't want to go through it again. Any other questions, lads? Any other ones? Anything else, guys? I'm just looking at the screen here. I should be looking here, but I got, you know, there's only so much you can stick on a phone. I hope you guys found this somewhat useful. And like I said, I'm just going to pop on here and show a small lesson whenever I feel like it. Usually it's going to be Wednesdays at 8:30. Oh man, you're very kind. Very kind. Elias, do you need some approach tones?
There you go. See you guys. Thanks very much.